A monster producer is a legendary creature who combines multiple skill sets to dominate their market. Are you ready to dominate?
All right, folks. How you guys doing tonight? Good to see everybody. One of my favorite songs of all time. Put me in, coach. Come on, Charlie, put me in. I'm ready to play, right? Thank you guys for being here tonight. I'm so excited to be with you. And if you're out there and you got to see this on Tuesday night, or you didn't get to see it on Tuesday night, we're gonna do it again tonight for you. Fair enough? And I think what we're going to talk about tonight could change everything for you. I know it certainly changed everything for me when I began to learn how to really tell a story and how to really share my message in a meaningful way, in a compelling way, in a way that when you give the message to another person, you immediately know if they're interested or not. And I always like to say, would you rather know in 15 seconds or chase somebody for 15 months? And I also like to joke and say, how many of you have ever chased somebody for 15 months only to wish that you never caught them? Okay, so what I'm going to teach you tonight is called the explanation of service. And it is, in essence, a 6-step framework for sharing your story. Anytime you see me give a message in front of any group of people, whether that message be in front of a live audience, like maybe you saw me in Scottsdale, Arizona, maybe you saw me at Intentionality Conference, you may have saw me at 10X, or wherever you saw me, I have a framework that I'm using to tell that story. When I do webinars, when I do podcasts, when I do Facebook Lives, when I do YouTube videos, when I'm in front of people sharing my message, I am always using the framework I'm going to show you tonight. Okay. And this is very important because we live in such a digital world that many of you share your stories or you share stories on social media. And what you're trying to build is what's called affinity. And affinity is where I'm out there watching you and I go, man, I like this person. I believe in this person, okay? And everything I'm going to show you tonight is based on a very simple premise that I believe 100% at my core, Julie Jones. I believe that like gravitate toward like, and I believe that people do business with other people that believe the same things they do, okay? And if I am following you and I believe the same things you do, I'm going to move toward you. Okay, like here's one of my core beliefs. I believe in getting on a path to health and wellness minus the use of pharmaceutical drugs. I believe at some point in everyone's life, we make a decision to go pro and we leave our amateur desires behind. And when we go pro in the body, in the mind, in the heart, and in the spirit, right? These are core beliefs that I have. I believe everybody needs a good coach in life. I believe a good coach can change your whole life. I believe those that have a coach earn 3 and 4 times the amount of money than those that don't. See, I am very clear in what I believe, okay? And because I'm clear in what I believe, I go out and I share that message with the world, and the people who believe the same things I do move toward me. The people that do not believe the same things I do move away from me, which is exactly what I want to do, right? Because I'm only looking for people that are looking for me, okay? I'm only looking for people that believe the same things. I actually believe that all conflict happens when 2 people don't believe the same things. If you're struggling right now with someone on your team, if you're struggling with one of your coaches, if you're struggling with somebody in your front line, if you're struggling with someone who is, there's conflict, it's most likely because you don't believe the same things. I believe in the power of consistency. I believe if you're going to do anything, you might as well do it right. I believe in going all the way, not some of the way, right? I believe in a long obedience in the same direction. So tonight I'm going to show you how to get clear, because every action you take is driven by your thoughts, and your thoughts are no wiser than your understandings. So I never lead with what I do. Okay. I would never teach you as a coach to lead with, I'm a health coach. And let me tell you why. There are 700,000 people who call themselves a coach in the United States. I would always lead first with what I believe. I believe in getting everybody, right? I believe in getting everybody on planet Earth to a place of health and wealth. I believe that there's a direct correlation between confidence, how you feel about your body, and how confident you are, right? I would never lead, because at the end of the day, people don't care what you do. They move toward people that believe the same things they do. So we got to get away from leading with what we do, and we got to get into leading with what we believe and why we believe it and what we do as a result of our beliefs and how we do it different than other people. And we got to be able to give examples of people we have done it for. Okay. And then we got to be able to do something that very few people do, which is make the ask. And we're going to cover that next week, and how to convert people that are interested. Okay. How to move out of what I call sales flirting and move into making an ask and saying, hey, if I could help you do this, what would stop you from moving forward with me? Okay. So let's get started tonight. This is going to be really good. It's going to change everything for you. I'm going to share a little bit of a PowerPoint with you that I put together on this. Here is the premise of what we're talking about tonight. Okay. All right. Here's the premise. People do business with other people who believe the same things they do. Selling or sharing is just aligning yourself with other people who believe the same things you do. Everybody see that? Okay. Sharing is just, right, is just aligning yourself with other people who believe the same things you do. Okay. And I always like to go where you feel celebrated, not where you feel tolerated. Okay. So I want to clear one thing up when it comes to telling your story. And I'm going to show you a graphic in just a second that makes it very clear. There is no such thing as rejection when you're sharing something. Some people will be interested in what you have. Some people will not be interested in what you have. So what? All you can do is share the story. All you can do is control the stimulus. All you can do, right? That's all you can do. You can't control their response to you. See, I used to go out into the world, and I used to believe that I would share my message with people, and I would share my story on what I believed and why I believed it and what I do, and that, man, everybody would sign up. And I would leave speaking, and a percentage of people signed up. And sometimes, Crystal Bass, I would leave there and I would say, what did I do wrong? Like, what did I mess up? What I thought I had conviction, and I thought I had energy, and I thought I told a great story, and I thought I shared my beliefs. And then I came across something. And this is what I came across that changed my life. This is called the law of diffusion. And the law of diffusion tells me that when you share your story with people, there will be 2.5% of people that are called innovators, and they will see it and like it immediately and take action on it. Think about the first time that you share a message with somebody and they go, I'm in, sign me up right now. Think about how few that number is. Okay. And here, this explains why. Then there's 13.5% of people that are called early adopters. These people need to see something 1 to 3 times before they take action. These people, the early majority, need to see something 3 to 7 times before they take action. Late majority, 34% of people, need to see something 7 to 15 times before they take action. And laggards, well, folks, unfortunately, they ain't never going to take action. You can move in with these people and they're not going to do anything. Okay. Now, how do you think, now this is what I want you to understand. Do you know how long it took me before I made a decision to get involved with Optavia? It took 2 years, and it took 7 to 15 times. And it took Doug Wood staying in my life as a good friend. See, I initially started coaching Doug Wood. He hired me to be his personal coach. And I began to get to know him. For 2 years, I weighed 191 pounds. I went to the gym every day. I didn't think I needed Optavia. And I was in Mexico speaking as the main speaker at a conference. And I was so confident on stage. And I went to my room and my wife was there and they said, why don't you come out by the swimming pool? And I told my wife, I said, I just don't feel very confident about my body. And I said, I'm making a decision today. And that word decide means to kill off. I'm making a decision today. I'm going to call Doug Wood and I'm going to get on that plan. And I'm going to get my confidence back to a high level. And I went from 191 to 165. Now, here's the deal, folks. It took me 2 years to make that decision, right? Doug Wood stayed in my life for 2 years. He didn't pressure me. He didn't push me. He didn't try to sell me on the concept. He just, right? Because when you look at the numbers, what I'm telling you is this is the truth right here, folks. This tells me everything I need to know. Some people see it one time and they're ready to go. How many of you have presented your health journey or your health story to a person the very first time they say it, they're like, sign me up today, I'm ready. How many of you took them 3 to 7 times? How many people it took 7 to 15 times? How many people that they need it, but they ain't never going to take action on it, folks? So guess when I make up my mind, if I'm going to go the distance of sharing 7 to 15 touches, I actually make up my mind in the first 15 seconds that I talk to a person. And when I'm sharing my health journey today, here's what I say. I believe that at some point in everyone's life, they make a decision to go pro. And when they do, they leave their amateur desires behind. And when they go pro in the body, in the mind, and in the heart, and in the spirit. Because I believe there's a direct correlation between how you feel about your body and how confident you are and how you do big things in the world. And I then move into my story of being in Mexico. Does everybody hear that? And that's called a story of origin. And the story of origin is where you tell me why you believe what you believe. So think of it this way. This is what I believe. I believe when you have more energy, you do bigger things, right? I believe confidence is the memory of success, right? Let me tell you why I believe this. And then I move into what's called a story of origin. And a story of origin is when you had a big revelation. So I want you to write these 3 words down. First, you had a big revelation, right? Big revelation is some sudden dramatic moment. My big dramatic moment was in Mexico. I'm making a decision today. Sudden dramatic moment. Every one of you who's on here tonight that's been on this health journey at some point in your life had a big revelation, yes or no? Some sudden dramatic moment where you said, dadgummit, I'm doing it right now. Because of the revelation, you now have a conviction, okay? And a conviction is a deep-seated belief. It is deep in your core. Like you can feel this. You can feel the energy. You can feel the passion. You can feel this. Why? Man, I got a conviction. So just remember this. I'm not aggressive. I'm not pushy, but I am convicted. Everybody see that? Okay. Now don't use that in Las Vegas because they may throw you in jail. You know what I'm saying? You're not convicted. Okay. Now here's my point. You have a conviction about you. And that conviction came from somewhere. Where did the conviction came from? Man, it came from this sudden dramatic moment I had that day in Mexico. Okay. And you're telling this story, right? So first, this is what I believe. Let me tell you why I believe it. Okay. Now, the third piece I want you to write down is action. Because of your conviction, you are now willing to take an action. I've got a good friend that lives down the street from me, and we went to elementary school together. We went to high school together. We went to college together. And I was the women's basketball coach at the high school, and he was the men's basketball coach. And we're best friends. And I began working out with him in the mornings, and we did tap out. Tap out is like mixed martial arts. And he kept telling me, I want to lose, I want to lose weight. I want to tone up. I want to do this. And I listened to him for a few times and I said, man, here's what I believe, man. I believe at some point in your life, you're going to go pro. And when you go pro, you're going to go pro in the body. And I know we're working out, but one of the things I believe is that you can't outwork a bad diet. I've been in the gym. I've had personal trainers, but I never lost weight. I never got to my ideal weight. And one big revelation I had was that you can't outwork a bad diet, no matter how much you work out, because I was working out all the time. And I weighed 191 and I was too big. If you saw me speak at Intentionality, there was 2 Coach Burts up there on stage, not just one. Okay. Now there's a little skinny Coach Burt. Now, here's my point. So I'm sitting here telling him this, and you know what he's doing while we're working out? Marianne, he's going, that's right. That's good. You're right. I believe in going pro. I've been doing the same thing. What do I know? What do I know then? I know he's in, man. It's just a matter of time. Yes or no? Because when 2 people believe the same things, they're going to do business with each other. I said, no, let me tell you what I did as a result of my beliefs, Brandon. Man, I picked up the phone, I called Doug Wood, and I got on this nutrition plan. They've got this habits of health system, and it's the easiest thing I've ever done in my life, right? I get all of my food every month. I get all my fuelings. I put them in a little bag. I reach in there every 2.5 hours, and I eat 1 lean and green, and boom, look at me. I'm like, this is crazy. Here's what I said. A busy guy like you, man, you'd love this because it's perfect for you. Because guess what? I'm living proof that it works. Okay, first time, he didn't say anything. Yep, that's good. Second time, third time, I'm like, hey, man, I know you said you wanted to tone up, get thinner, look better. Have you given some thought to that plan that I told you about? Yeah, but, I like going. I like eating Mexican food. I like this. And I'm like, hey, I understand. Me too. But there ain't nothing that tastes as good as skinny feels, man. You understand what I'm telling you? There ain't nothing that tastes as good as skinny feels. He's like, yeah, you're right. Hey, about 7 times, because we're best friends, I said, remember what I told you I believe, man? I believe at some point you go pro, man. And let me tell you why I believe that. Man, I got more energy. I look better. I feel better. I look better in all my suits. I got more confidence than I've ever had. I said, man, I'm telling you, I'm on fire. I want you to be on fire. Now, I can't help you until you commit to something. But man, once you commit, I'm not going to let you fail. And you know what I said? I'm in. Where do I sign up? Here's the deal. Got on the plan, lost 20 or 30 pounds, felt better, looks better, right? More energy, more confidence. Now, let me ask you a question. If I would have quit after the first time, would I have really had some conviction to me? See, I knew I could help him. How many of you know you could help people? Then why would you go one time and quit? See, I got a conviction about me. Now, the reason I continued to go back to him and follow up is because we really do believe the same things. He really did want to get better. I knew I could help him. So because of my revelation, I now have a conviction. Because of my conviction, I'm willing to go the distance, man. I'm not giving up on him. Now, look at him. Now he's thanking me, right? So that's where I want you to understand this concept. When I'm telling that story, notice how I'm going back to my story every time. Remember me telling about being in Mexico, how I felt? Okay, that's why I made this decision, man. And because I made this decision, I'm in the best shape of my life. And I want to help you do that too. Okay, so when you're thinking about this story you're telling, sometimes some of you are not going the distance. You're going 1 or 2 times, and because a person does it, right? I make up my mind, and the first time I share my story, if I think they're interested. And if they're interested, man, I'm going the distance. And to me, the distance is to keep moving down the thing, because he could be over here. I was over here. I didn't take action the first time. Now, when you're thinking about this concept, I want you to be thinking right now about what your beliefs are about health, wealth, confidence, nutrition, because your homework assignment between now and next week is, I want you to be very clear in what you believe, because this is, there's going to be a moment where you lead with this. Now, you don't call people up and freak them out and say, Sarah, let me tell you what I believe. See if you believe the same things. Okay. You don't lead with that, because that'd be weird, wouldn't it? Here's what you do, folks. This is what I do. Now, notice the cycle I go through. I call people or talk to people or reach out to people, and I just initiate. The word initiate means to move, to take an action. Right? I just reach out to people. Hey, I noticed Valerie, that you look like you're playing at a high level. You look like you're ready to do something big in the world. Okay. So good to connect to you. And I disarm people. And when I disarm people, what I do is I just connect to people. Where do you live? How's it going? Or if I know them, I'm just watching and kind of engaging with them. Hey, Eric, I noticed you're doing big things in the world, man. I'm proud of you. Okay. Looks like you're trying to go pro in life. And they're like, yeah, man, I'm trying to go pro. And sometimes I just ask people, what are you trying to do this year? You know, what are you trying to do? And they say, well, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to, work on my marriage. I'm trying to be a better dad. I'm trying to make more money. And I'm like, okay, good. See, now look at what I'm doing here. I'm locating a problem or an opportunity. See, my friend told me I'd like to lose 20 pounds. Everybody see that? He told me. I'm like, man, what are you trying to do this year? Well, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to get in better shape. I'm trying to make $1 million. Okay, good. Somewhere after I've initiated and disarmed them, what I mean by disarm means I just build connection. There's a part of your brain called the croc brain. The croc brain's scared of everything. And it moves into a defensive posture when it thinks somebody's trying to sell something. What it does is it gets very defensive. It's like, oh, here we go. Robin's going to try to sell me on this health plan because she's a health coach. And the brain is primitive. So it gets into a defensive posture. It's like, all right, she ain't selling me that. Well, the way you overcome that is you disarm people through connecting to people. Okay. Not one time in those 2 years did I feel like Doug Wood was trying to sell me anything. Does that make sense? All I felt like he was trying to do was help me be a better version of me. All I felt like he was trying to do, to use a term you guys use a lot, was move me towards some desired outcome that I really wanted. Everybody see that? I didn't feel like he was trying to sell me anything. So my croc brain was never alerted. So the way I disarm people's croc brains, man, I just talk to them. Right? Hey, Carrie, where do you live? Oh, I live here. Oh, great, man. Saw somebody, I love Scottsdale. I'm going to be in Scottsdale next week speaking. Like some of my favorite places in the world. I'd love to have a place there. And I just talk to people. And then I may say, hey, Carrie, what are you trying to do this year? Well, I'm trying to build my team. I'm trying to get more coaches. I'm trying to build my front line. Okay, great. Here's a couple things I believe. Okay. I believe this, this, and this. Now, let me tell you why I believe this, Carrie. Let me tell you what I can help you do to reach this desired outcome. And somewhere in that conversation, I'm going to say, now, let me tell you some people I'm doing it for. We're having a lot of success with them. If this interests you, man, I'd love to sit down and talk to you about it. I'd love to do a health assessment, love to do a strategy call, love to just move you to the next thing. And I keep people moving in a positive posture. I don't call people up and say, hey, this is what I believe. If you don't believe it, step over here, right? I initiate, I disarm, I locate a problem, and I offer a solution. Now look at this. This is a formula I use. Okay. Initiate an idea. Hey man, I got an idea. I noticed you're trying to do big things in the world. Or people ask me, how'd you lose that weight, coach? How'd you get in better shape? I always joke and say, man, I wanted to be at my Floyd Mayweather fighting weight. Okay. And that's 168. Okay. And here's what I did to do it. Now, what about you? You trying to get to your fighting weight? And I just joke with people and they're like, yeah, I am, man. Trying to get ready. Summer's coming up. I'm like, great. Me too. So I locate a problem. And right here, I share my explanation of service right here. And then if they like it, I say, we do a webinar every Wednesday night. Why don't you jump on that webinar with us next week? Right? Or, hey, if it's something you're interested in doing, I always like to ask this question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about doing this? Like, how serious are you about getting in better shape? How serious are you about this? And they're like, well, I'm at a 7. I'm like, okay, sounds like we need to get you started then. Right? And I push them to something in the future. Okay. I push them to something in the future. Now, next week, we'll get into conversion and I'll talk about the exact phrases I use. One of my favorite ones is, man, I can't help you till you commit, but once you commit, I'm not going to let you fail. Okay. That's one of my favorite ones. Okay. I know it seems like you want to do this. It sounds like this is the perfect plan for you. I'm excited to help you. What would stop us from just getting started with it right now or tonight? We'll get into all of my favorite things to say to get a person across the finish line. So number one, I want you to get real clear. I like to have, if you're building this out, 3 beliefs. I like to lead with 3 belief statements. Okay. I believe there's a direct correlation between your health and your wealth. I believe that how you feel about your body directly affects your confidence. I believe in going pro in all 4 parts of your nature. Everybody see that? So I got 3 beliefs. Now, let me tell you why I believe this. And then I go into what's called my story of origin. Does everybody have a story? And I'm sure you do. You just probably haven't thought about it this way, about why you chose to go down this path. Yes or no? If you were to tell some of those stories, I've seen some of your stories. Man, people would be crying. The stories of transformation that have happened, the confidence and swag that people have got back through this program. Like if you were to really tell your stories, and this is very important. I have been coached by some of the top media coaches in the world. And when I first started getting coaching several years ago, I was sitting in New York City, and I asked my coach, who had coached a lot of big time people on television, I said, what is keeping me from being a big time person? And he said, you will not be vulnerable with other people. He said, he said, you never tell the bad. You never tell the stories of transformation. You're like a little machine. And he's like, people cannot relate to that machine. They need to hear when you've been knocked down, heartbroken, depressed. They need to hear it. And when you get better at that, you will become an international thought leader. And for 3 years, I was not coachable. Dwayne, you follow me? I was like, I'm not telling that. They can forget that, right? I'm not telling people about being depressed at 25 years old, clinically depressed. I'm not telling them about being raised by a single mom that was in a physically abusive marriage. I'm not telling all of the things that I've gone through in my life. I'm not talking about that. They can forget that. And one day I said, man, that dude's right. I need to tell it all. And when I started being vulnerable, I started connecting to people's hearts and spirits. And when I started connecting to people's hearts and spirits, you should have seen what happened to my coaching business. It blew up like you cannot imagine, because I told the whole story. And now I tell everything. Okay. Sometimes my wife's like, I can't believe he told that. I'm like, hey, it's what my coach told me to do. Tell it all. Okay. Now, here's my point. When you're telling your story of origin, folks, you got to be real. You got to tell it. You got to say, man, I was broke down, lost every bit of my confidence, heartbroken, right? And man, let me tell you what I did as a result of this belief. I took an action, and there is a power in taking action. There's a power in getting your confidence back. There's a power in playing at another level. There's a power in reaching your potential, right? So step 1, what do you believe? Step 2, tell me why you believe it. That's your story of origin. So you need to work on your story of origin. Okay. Step 3. Step 3 is, what are you going to do as a result of your belief? And this is very important. When you tell me you're a health coach, I'm not opposed to that, but it doesn't really tell me what you do. Okay. It's vague. I like to tie what I do to what I call 4 mores, and to the impression of increase. We help people just like you get their confidence back. We help people get on a path to health and wellness. We provide a habits of health system to help a person, right, reach their ideal outcome. We provide community for people. Like, what do you do? And you need to tie what you do to an impression of increase. Like, my life is going to get better when I join you. Everything in my life is going to get better because of you, because you're in it. When I'm with you, I feel better about me. So I always like to say, man, when I'm done with you, you're going to be more confident. You're going to have more clarity. You're going to be more equipped. And you right? There's more to this equation. More confident, more capable, more clarity, right? More focused. I call it the 4 mores. When I'm done with you, here's what's going to happen, man. And be specific. Okay. Now, there's 2 ways to look at this. When I'm explaining what this health plan does as a health coach, I talk about simplicity. I got on a plan that was simple. I'm a busy executive. I'm moving fast. I don't have a lot of time. I don't want to count a lot of things. Man, they ship the food, they ship the fuelings to my house. I put them in a little monster producer bag. I took them to work with me, ate every 2.5 hours. I'm like, it's the easiest thing I've ever done. And I couldn't do it if it was complicated because I don't have time to food with complicated. It's simple. So what we do is we get you on a plan, man, that's simple and it's easy to follow. Okay. And then there's a community that we're going to provide for you and a coach that we're going to give you and an accountability structure, man, because I believe everybody needs accountability, right? And this is what we're going to do for you when you join us. See how specific I am when I'm talking about this? If you say, well, I'm just a health coach and we help you with your health and we provide food for you, what people are going to be saying is, okay, help me to understand exactly what you do. How does it work? You know how it works because you do it every day. I don't know how it works. Okay? This is what I believe. This is why I believe it. This is what we're going to do when you join us. Okay? We do this, we do this, and we do this. I like typically giving 3 things. So I say we get you on a habits of health system. Okay? We get you a coach and some accountability. And we make it real simple if you just follow the plan. Everybody with me? And I give some examples of my own journey, folks. Okay, because I try to remove an objection before they give me one. Here's the objection. It's going to be hard. I've tried other plans. They didn't work. Right. It's going to cost too much. We had a guy on our team that we're looking at trying to get in. He may be on here tonight. Tony Barnes. He's like, man, I got to save up money to get on the plan. I said, no, man, the way you're looking at this is all wrong. You're going to save money by getting on the plan. I said, you start calculating how much money you're spending right now on fast food, all the places you eat out. You calculate that for 1 month and you come back to me and I guarantee you get on this plane, you're going to save money. It ain't going to cost you money. You're going to save money. How many of y'all believe that? Okay. So the way he was looking at it was wrong. He's like, I got to save money so I can get on the plane. I'm like, no, you get on the plane and the money and you're actually going to save money by getting on the plane, not spend more money. Okay. So it's just one of those things, okay? So this is what I believe. This is why I believe it. This is what we're going to do. And when you're telling your story out there on Facebook and social media, this is what we believe. This is why we believe it. This is what we do. If you ever watch me on social media, how many of y'all seen me talk about this? Hey, I believe everybody needs a good coach in life. I believe a good coach can change your life, guys. I believe those that have a coach earn 3 and 4. Every video I do, I can do it in my sleep. I probably do it in my sleep. I say it so much. I probably wake up in the middle of the night and go, I believe everybody needs a coach in life because I've said it so many freaking times in my life. Okay. Now, when I'm doing these videos, I'll go through this cycle. This is what I believe. This is why I believe it. Now, today, this is what I'm going to be talking about. Today, I'm talking about the follow-up and how the follow-up can help you. And this is the message I have. Okay. So I'm leading you through a story. And every time I do an interview, a podcast, a social media, right? This is the framework I'm using. Okay. All right. Next slide. Next step. And we're working through the system. So this is your homework. When I come back next week, I'm going to call on some folks. Okay. So don't get on there. There'll be 800 people on there on Tuesday night. Okay. So Patrina, if I call on you, don't let me down. Okay. You gotta make sure you have that thing ready to go. I shouldn't have said that. Some of y'all won't show up Tuesday night because you'll be afraid I'm going to call on you in front of 800 people. Now, here's the deal. What do you do? Make it real simple. We help people do this. Now, this is a very important question. And you got to be able to answer this question. How do you do it different than other people? How many of you guys have heard of an unspoken objection? An objection is where I have an opposition of thought. And this is what I mean by having an objection. I've already got an objection in my mind, but I'm not telling you. See, I live in the South and everybody's sweet, sweet tea, apple pie. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So we listen to people and we have objections, but we think them in the South, but we don't say them. Does that make sense? So we're sitting there thinking, oh yeah, this ain't gonna work. I'm telling you, it ain't gonna work because I already tried 7 things that didn't work. And I'm gonna listen to Julie Jones because she's nice, but let me tell you something. There ain't no way in the world I'm doing this. That's what we're thinking. Because in my mind, the brain focuses 3 times more on negative than it does on positive. So in my brain is saying, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. So instead of waiting for you to bring up something, I address the objection. I just say, you're probably wondering how this is different than every other plan that's out there. That's probably what you're wondering, right? Well, there's really three things that makes our plan different. Okay. And I address the unspoken objection. Okay. And I kind of tell the story of, in your case, of Dr. A. I talk about his story. I talk about the habits of health system. I talk about community. I talk about people. I talk about the ease and use of it. I've tried to find something that makes it different than other plans that are out there. And I sit there and I say, you know what? You're probably wondering how this is different than everybody else. Everything other people have shown you. I personally believe there's three things that makes this different. Everybody see that? And what I'm doing, Crystal Wallace, is I'm addressing an unspoken objection. Objection is opposition of thought. I've got an objection. I'm hardwired to have an objection. I'm sitting there thinking, we live in a cynical culture. Okay, we come into everything with an objection. We already think it ain't gonna work. You gotta show me how it is gonna work. Okay, and what you do, you say, man, this is let me give you three things that makes this different. So look at the story I'm telling. This is what I believe. How fast do you think I know if somebody believes the same things I do? Let me ask the question: how many of you believe everybody needs a good coach in life? How many of you believe a good coach can change your life? See, you don't even have to raise your hand. I could just tell by your facial expressions. Okay? Because here's the deal. When you two people believe the same things, they move toward each other. If you don't believe the same things, you're right? It's like, I don't know about that one. And they're skeptical. Okay? When people believe, the body language says it. So that's how I know in 15 seconds, it's like, I can help this person. I can help this person because they're open, they're inviting. They may not want to do it today, but man, they're interested. Okay, this is what I believe. This is why I believe it. This is what we do. This is how we do it different than other people. Okay, does everybody think they can come up with 3 ways the program is different than other plans? Yes or no? How many of you have tried plans before it didn't work? Raise your hand. Okay, can you see a clear difference between what you're doing now and what you used to do? Yes or no? Okay, you need to be able to articulate that to another person. You need to say, man, I tried 7 different things and none of them worked. Okay, until I found this. Let me tell you what worked about it. Love the community, love the heart of the people involved, love the energy, love the simplicity. Like, you need to listen to what kind of conviction I have with this. Okay, and you need to be able to say that. Okay, now, this is one of my favorite parts, and you guys have success stories coming out of your ears. So this ain't going to be hard, okay? Because I see all those success stories. Who have you done it for? Now, I ask people, because somebody asked me about confidentiality. Listen, I ask people, is it okay if I share your story with other people? This has been so transformational. Do you mind if I share it with other people? And they're like, no, tell everybody about it. I'm like, okay, great. Even if they didn't tell me, you don't even have to use names. You could say, man, we were working with a woman last week that had lost every bit of her confidence, every bit of her mojo, every bit of everything she wanted to do in her life. Man, we got her on her path to health and wellness on this plan. And let me tell you, she's like a brand new woman. Okay? Like, I ain't even seen a person make a transformation like this. Now, I work with a lot of executives, okay? A lot of high-powered executives. All I got to say many times is, hey, you probably know so-and-so. We got him on the plan. We got so-and-so. We got him on the plan. He joined me, right? Everybody's doing it. They're trying to figure out what everybody's doing. They're all doing this. And they're like, oh, if he's on it. Hey, if he's on it, I'm in, right? Because here's the deal. We're looking for what's called social proof. Social proof is where I don't know if this works or not. You need to give me some results. So I talk about Eric White, who's on my team. He's on here tonight. And I say, look at Eric White. I sent Eric a picture the other night, and I was joking with him. And I said, man, even your hair was big back when you were big, man. Not only were you big, your hair was big. And I was joking with him. I said, look at how far you've come, man. You lost, 60, 70 pounds through this plan. You look like $1 million. Your confidence is higher. You're right. Like, your life's all better. So when I'm telling people, I'm like, look, man, I got a guy on my team lost 60 pounds. I personally went from 191 to, 168. I'm in the best shape of my life. Some of our top people that I'm coaching in my Monster Producer program are going through this health process and getting their path, getting their life on a path to health and wellness. And I'm giving examples. Does everybody see that? Everybody see that? I'm giving examples. I was on a Clubhouse today with Dan Valentine, and some of you may have been on there. They do this Clubhouse a couple times a week, and Dan and Megan are such incredible people. And all I got to say, man, hey, Dan Valentine's in. Why are you not in? Everybody's doing it. Why are you not doing it, right? And so social proof is, give me examples. Like, who has this worked for? What happened to them, right? And you need to be able to say, let me give you some examples of people this has worked for. Okay, so you can see how this could work for you, right? Now, look at how I'm telling this story, okay? Now, last piece, and my favorite piece, and this is where I actually think a lot of health coaches really struggle, is in this piece right here, making the ask. Okay, and I really believe, next Tuesday night, I'm going to go through some of my best, what I would call close. To close something means to bring something to an end. It means to bring two things together. And what you're really doing is you're bringing a person's desire to move to some ideal outcome with your experience and system to help them do it. That's what you're bringing together, right? When you close a door, you bring two things together. When you close something, you're bringing something together. You're bringing something to an end, which is why I love saying, man, I can't help you till you commit, but once you commit, I promise you, I'm not going to let you fail. Right? That's one of my favorite things I say. So let me give you some of these tonight, because when it comes to how many of you think you struggle with making the ask to get a person to make a commitment? Yeah, this is common around the world. I just did a webinar just a few minutes ago for 250 people. Some of you might have been on there on my top seven things I say. And man, I even surprised my own self, Valerie. That was good. I went there and told my wife, I'm like, man, these are some pretty good closes. And my point is, at some point in my life, when I was 25 years old, I went through a terrible breakup. I thought I found the person I was supposed to marry. I bought an engagement ring. We broke up before I gave her the ring. She broke up with me. I took the engagement ring back, and it's a lonely day when you take an engagement ring back. And I get there, and the person says, now why are you bringing this back? Is it a broken engagement? And I was like, man, I will punch you in the face. Why do you think I'm bringing it back? Like, she broke up with me, man. She didn't accept the ring. Okay. It's embarrassing. And so I went through this period of just pure depression. And I was so insecure during that life. I felt rejected. I felt so rejected during that period. And a person came along in my life, and they said to me, the way you're looking at this is all wrong. And I'm like, what do you mean? I liked her. She didn't like me. That's rejection. Like, I don't even know any other way to look at it. And they said, no, just because she doesn't want what you have doesn't mean that somebody else won't want what you have. There will be a lot of people who want what you have. She just wanted something different than what you had. Just because she didn't want it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. She didn't, there is no, and she said this word to me, there is no such thing as rejection. Some will want what you have. Some will not want what you have. It's okay. Just keep on moving. Some will, some won't, so what? Now, the number one reason I'm telling you that story is because you don't ask another person to take action because you're afraid of that rejection. You're afraid they'll go, oh, I'm not doing this. Oh, no, I don't want it. What's the worst thing they can do, folks? Tell you they don't want to do it? What's the worst thing you can do? I can't help you until you commit to something, right? So I say, it seems like you want to do this. It seems like this is the right plan for you. What would stop you from doing it right now? Right? Like, I just asked because I'm not afraid of rejection anymore. I have no fear of rejection whatsoever. Like, you could tell me no, I'm like, okay. And no doesn't mean no forever, by the way. No just means no today, right? You may come back to me 6 months from today and say, you know what? You talked to me about that plan. I need that. I need that. Thank you for talking. Thank you for bringing that up to me. Now, here's my point. I see a lot of health coaches that, in my world as a business coach, I call it sales flirting. You know, you talk about it, you say, well, here's my card. If you need anything, call me, or here's my, and they smile, and here's my number, and we'll get back together at some point. And at some point, you got to bring it to an end, folks. And you got to say, look, man, I want to help you so bad I can't see straight. I know this plan will work for you. Would you at least give it a shot? Would you give me 30, 60, 90 days? I'm telling you, this is going to help you. I know this can help you. All they can say is no. And nothing happens until you have that moment. I know it's a little awkward. And I always like to say I've got a sweet tea and apple pie version. And the sweet tea and apple pie version is out of everything I shared with you, what really piqued your interest the most? Out of everything I shared, what did you like? Okay. Now I threw one in there at the end tonight that was a bonus, and it may be one of the best closes for an Optavia coach or a health coach. And it is to take a person into the future and then bring them back to where they are today. Okay. And it could be, Sandy, if you and I were sitting here 6 months from today, looking back over those 6 months, what would have to happen for you to feel good about this? And let Sandy tell you, man, I'd love to get my weight down 30 pounds. I would love to have my confidence back. I would love, to be able to play with my kids at night. I mean, I have a 9-month-old son. Man, that kid's into everything now. You got to have a lot of energy. He's up every morning at 5:15, on the money, right? Here's my point. Sandy will tell me what she needs. Does everybody see that? Okay. Hey, if you and I are sitting here, Sandy, at the end of this year, and we knocked it out of the park, what would have to happen for you to feel good about doing this? And let her talk. And when she tells you, when Sandy tells me, I say, man, I believe this program can do all of those things for you. It can help you get your energy back. It can help you get in the best shape of your life. It can help you do right. Like, I really believe this can do it. Would you give it a shot? And you ain't doing it for me, by the way. I tell people, you're not committing to me. You're committing to you, right? I've already committed. I'm trying to help you commit to something. The word decide means to kill off. What I'm doing right here is I'm helping you kill off some fear and insecurity and doubt and vacillation. And I can't help you till you commit. And so next Tuesday night, we'll talk a little bit more about conversion from interested people. And what I really want to teach you is follow-up. I feel like a lot of health coaches struggle with follow-up. So they present an idea, you have some interest, and you don't really know how to follow up appropriately to bring a person to a decision. And there's a difference between the follow-up and the close. Okay. If Sandy tells me I need to think about it, right? I need to sleep on it. I need to talk to somebody about it. Okay. We live in the South, so we got to pray about it, right? She's going to tell me all these things. I need to follow up with her appropriately. And then there will be the right time when I say to Sandy, seems like you want to do this. We believe the same things. I've showed you what the plan does. I've showed you how we do it different than other people. I've even showed you some examples of people we've done it for. What would stop you, Sandy, from doing it right now? Because I feel like you want to do this. I know that's a little uncomfortable sometimes, but that is necessary. What I say to my buddy, man, I listen to you talk about losing 20 pounds, man, for 7 workouts now. Now, I can't help you do it until you commit. So what would stop me from just signing you up today? He's like, you're right. Let's do it. Okay. So here's the point. You got to have enough confidence for you and them. Okay. Now, these are the 6 components of a good, what we call explanation of service, explanation of value. Okay. This is how you really tell a story, folks. And this is how you need to tell a story. If you follow me on social media, during interviews, during podcasts, during webinars, this is a framework that will never lead you wrong. Okay. If I'm out at the park talking to a person and I'm playing with my kid and they're playing with their kid and they come over and we just start talking, I don't lead with what I do. What do you do? Well, I'm a health coach. Okay. Because that puts a person, it's like, okay, great. Good for you. I always say, before I tell you what I do, let me back up and tell you what I believe, because it'll make more sense what I do, right? I believe, right, at some point in everyone's life, they make a decision to go pro. And they look at me and they're like, yeah, it's good. And I think when you make a decision to go pro, you do it in the body, in the mind, and in the heart and the spirit. And man, I had a breakdown in Mexico because I didn't feel good about my body. I made a decision, transformed my life. And because of that belief in what happened to me, I've chosen to really help other people get on a path to health and wellness, right? I've really chosen to do this with my life. Okay. And then they're like, oh, okay, man, I could get in better shape. Okay, great. Why don't we schedule a time and we'll talk about it? Like, it's such an easy conversation. I always joke and tell people when I'm on airplanes, I typically wear my championship ring, and people always look at my ring and they try to figure out uh, if I played in the NFL. And they sit there and they look at my championship ring, and then they look at it again, and then finally they get up enough courage to go, "Excuse me, sir, is that a Super Bowl ring?" And I'm thinking to myself, do I look like I play in the NFL? I'm 5'6", okay? Like I'm the kicker for the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it's not a Super Bowl ring. Here's what I say. I say, well, that's a championship. Here's what I say. I was a championship women's basketball coach, but I retired from that. And as soon as I say that, then they go, well, now you retired. Like, how old are you? And I say, well, I'm 44 now, but I actually retired at 31 from coaching women's basketball. And they said, well, what do you do now? And I said, well, before I tell you what I do, let me tell you what I believe, man. I believe everybody needs a good coach in life. Just out of curiosity, have you ever had a good coach? And they're like, oh yeah, I had a great coach in high school and I could. So you know the power of a coach in your life, don't you? I've really devoted the last 28 years of my life to help and activate the prey drive in people, engineer people to win, build the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. Okay. And I'm doing it for some of the top people in the world right now. And then they're like, oh, this is interesting, right? And I know I hit it right when they say, can I get your card? Because I'd like to follow up with you. Now, if I'm on a plane and I don't want to talk to people and they say, what do you do? I say, oh, I'm a life coach. And that pretty much ends the conversation. Then I don't have to talk to anybody on the plane because they're like, oh, I don't need a life coach. And so it just depends if I want to talk that night or not. Now, my point to you is this. If I just lead with, what if you were sitting beside me on a plane and you said, what do you do? And I said, I'm a health coach. They may go, okay, great. Some people may ask, but if you say, well, let me tell you what I believe, and then I'll tell you what it is I actually do and who we do it for. That's a much better way to share the story. Would you agree? Okay. And so what I'm trying to teach you how to do is share a story in a better way. And then you will elicit interest from people. They'll be attracted to your story. And they'll say, look, I like that person. They got a good spirit. They got a good energy. I'm really interested in that. And they'll build an affinity. And what they do is they just watch. They just watch you. Many people don't. I have people tell me all the time, man, I've been watching you for 2 years on YouTube. I watch you every morning on Facebook. Like they don't tell me they're watching me until they sign up for me to coach them. They're like, oh, you've been my coach for 2 years. You just didn't know it. Right. So that's powerful. So let me stop right here and take any questions that you might have, because we're going to be doing this over a 4-week cycle. I'm going to tackle one big subject each week. Next week will be follow-up and conversion. And then we'll move into how you build teams and coaches. And then we'll finish up with how you keep people excited and engaged. Because I can tell you from even me and my wife's health business, it is very much like my business coaching business. It is hard to keep people engaged in a very distracted world, right? And it's hard to keep people on fire for long periods of time. I actually wrote a book called The Accountable Church, which is for churches on how to keep people engaged over and over and over, because, man, people fall off the wagon. And many people get to their ideal weight and then they think they don't need it. And then they move on to something else and they get distracted. So these are the topics we're going to be covering over the next 4 weeks. Has this been valuable for you tonight? Okay. And thank you for the people that showed up for a second time. If you came on Tuesday night, that means the world to me. I hate that the Zoom, we had a fit with Zoom that they screwed up on Tuesday night, but hey, I just told my team, we'll do it again, man. Ain't no big deal. We'll do it again. Right? Does anybody have any questions for me?
I have a question.
Sure.
Thanks so much, Coach Burt, for doing the replay for those of us who didn't get on. I appreciate it. My question is, do you feel like there's a certain number of I believe statements that's kind of a good number? Because you don't want to do too much.
That's right. And a lot of people actually believe, I'm glad you asked that. A lot of people send me their explanation of services and they've got 17 I believe statements. And I'm like, that's a little overkill. Okay. You have all these beliefs inside of you. It's just you haven't phrased it like this. Okay. I was going back and reading. I'm a faith-based person, so I was going back and reading the Bible in a certain area today, and most of everything was spoken into existence. Right? It's I believe this. The saying I believe something is a very powerful thing to say. This is what I believe. Right? I'm saying it into existence. I'm saying, okay, this is what I believe at my core. So I typically have 3 core beliefs. Okay. And when I'm sharing it, I believe this. And as a rhythm, there's a rhythm and a cadence to the way I'm saying it. Because I did a course on this for 3 hours the other day with a group of people, and some people go, I believe this. And because of that belief, I believe. I'm like, look, if you're going to say it, you're going to have to say it with some juice. Okay. And it's vocal tonality. Man, there's 3 things I believe. I believe this, I believe this, I believe this. Let me tell you why I believe that. Okay. Now let me tell you what it is we do or how we do it different. Okay. And there's a rhythm that you're going to get in a rhythm. So I personally like 3 because I think it gives you a little bit of rhythm, but you may have 30 belief statements, but I think you need to boil it down to your top 3 when you're sharing. Okay. A lot of people think a whole EOS is just your belief statement, and it's not. That's the start to an explanation of service. Okay. I still don't know what you do. Like, what do you do? We help people do this. We help people like you do this. Right? How do you do it different? Okay. Because that's what I'm wondering. So just remember, it's not just a belief. The belief starts it off, but then I need to know, what do you do as a result of your belief? How do you do this different? Who have you done this for? Okay. I really need some more meat on the bone. And then when you're done, I may go, that's good. I'm interested. I'm not ready to make a decision. I got to sleep on it, think about it, talk to the wife about it, pray on it, find some money for it, whatever people say, right? If I've got interest, I'll show you how to follow up next week on that interest. Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, thank you for doing this a second time.
Sure.
Totally missed the first and then haven't really had a chance to go through the replay. And I just loved what you're doing.
Thanks.
Coach Burt, I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, so you have some very impressive people to give proof, okay, to. Those of us who are still trying to build that kind of people that we've helped, that group of people, would you suggest we still stick to just who we've helped? Or is it okay to say, just Optavia, has been able to help and bring other stories in, not just people that we've coached?
Yeah. You could say we routinely help thousands of people every year. Right. This system has helped, X number of people. So it doesn't always have to be you personally. It can be just stories of transformation, because you got lots of stories of transformation.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
And you don't have to tell bunches. It's like, hey, Lisa, there's a woman that we worked with, or there's a woman that our program has worked with that really helped get results. Let me give you some examples. It could be one person. It doesn't have to be thousands of people, but it can't, right? Sometimes say somebody just like you. I was working with somebody just like you last week.
Yeah.
I was working with a single mom. I was working with somebody who had 2 kids. I was working with somebody who just did this. So it's just a little bit of a proof of concept there. Great.
Perfect.
Question.
Thank you. Thank you.
And there will be a replay. I know they're asking. There's always a replay with Coach Burt, and we will send it out to you. Okay. So we definitely want you to watch this over and over. Eric White on my team, if you have questions for me, eric@coachburt.com. He has gone through the Optavia plan. He's shown a transformation. He's an incredible guy. He's known me for years. I used to punish him when we were friends. I would make him come over after church and watch 4 or 5 hours of Stephen Covey videos on the 7 habits of highly effective people. And what's funny is I would tell Eric, one of these days, I'm going to do what Dr. Covey does. We were just basketball coaches. I said, one of these days, I'm going to do what Dr. Covey does. I'm going to go around the world and I'm going to help people just like he's helped me. And it's so funny that now he went his way and I went my way, and now we're back working together. And we used to sit there on Sunday and man, I would make him watch 3 hours of Stephen Covey videos on a Sunday afternoon. Had to be miserable, but he stuck through it. And now he's working on my team. So it must have worked. So he can help you with anything. He's heavily plugged into the Optavia community. As you know, I've personally worked with Doug Wood as his coach for a period of time. I'm about to do hopefully some stuff with Dan Valentine. And so I'm heavily plugged in to the community. My wife is a health coach. So we're here for you. We're here to support you. We're here to help you achieve your goals. And we bring a lot of, I've just coached a lot of business people in my life. So I think that we can really help you play at the level you want to play at. You'll see me doing some things over the next couple of weeks. It could be good for you. I'm doing a whole day on follow-up next Thursday. We record that. That's called Fanatical Follow-Up. I really believe health coaches struggle in how they follow up. We will talk about it some on Tuesday night, but you really need to become really, really good at how you follow up and convert people who are interested. And this is a new skill for a lot of people, and it is a skill, okay? It is a skill that can be learned. So I think that would be something good for you to look at, that full day with me. And we'll be seeing you over the next 3 weeks, okay? If you have questions, Eric at Coach Burt, we'll get into some more things, but I'm honored to be coaching you. Thank you guys for showing up tonight. God bless you, okay? Thank you.